Some of the simplest things you do every day, like the way you sit, how you sleep, or even what's in your morning cup, could be quietly raising your risk of losing your vision. Sounds shocking, right? But with glaucoma, often called the silent thief of sight, that's exactly how it happens. Here's the reality. Once glaucoma damages the optic nerve and causes vision loss, it can't be undone. But here's the good news. You have more power to protect your eye health than most people realize. In this video, I'll reveal 4 everyday habits that might be increasing your intraocular pressure, and I'll give you the practical steps to keep your eyes safe. So let me ask you, do you spend long hours sitting without much movement? Do you struggle with sleep, or rely on that second or third cup of coffee just to get through the day? Or maybe you've been under constant stress, not realizing it could be affecting your eyesight. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which habits to avoid, and what to do instead, so your eyes can stay strong for years to come. Habit number 1. Sedentary lifestyle. Spending most of the day sitting might feel harmless, whether it's watching TV, chatting at the table, or scrolling on a tablet, but that lack of movement slowly takes a toll on eye health. For many older adults, it's less about laziness and more about routine after years of hard work. The problem is that when the body isn't active, blood circulation weakens, and the balance between blood supply to the optic nerve and intraocular pressure is disturbed. Over time, this imbalance can damage the delicate fibers that carry visual information to the brain, quietly raising the risk of glaucoma. Research backs this up. A large Japanese study found that regular exercise lowered the chances of developing glaucoma, and something as simple as walking an hour a day made a measurable difference. Just imagine, a stroll through the park or walking the dog could be enough to protect your eyesight. Now, this doesn't mean you need to run marathons at 70. In fact, pushing too hard can backfire. Straining while lifting heavy weights or holding your breath during exertion can cause pressure spikes inside the eyes, and excessive aerobic exercise may also reduce blood flow in ways that aren't helpful for aging eyes. The key is balance. That balance looks like 30 minutes of brisk walking, cycling at a comfortable pace, or joining a water aerobics class a few times a week. Even short movement snacks, standing up, stretching, or pacing the room every hour, keep circulation flowing. Gardening, tidying up, or light chores all count. The goal isn't intensity, it's consistency. And if a lack of movement can quietly harm your vision, the next risk factor is even trickier, because it sneaks in while you're supposed to be resting. Habit number 2. Poor sleep patterns and low blood pressure at night. Sleep is supposed to restore the body, but when it's irregular, too short, too long, or constantly interrupted, it can do more harm than good, especially for aging eyes. During the night, blood pressure naturally dips, but if it drops too low, it reduces the blood supply to the optic nerve. Without steady circulation, those delicate fibers weaken over time, raising the risk of glaucoma. Research confirms this link. A major UK study that followed nearly 400,000 people for over a decade found that insomnia, snoring, or unusual sleep duration increased the risk of glaucoma by up to 13%. And when low nighttime blood pressure combines with elevated intraocular pressure, the odds get even worse, a dangerous combination for the eyes. Things can get more complicated for those who take blood pressure medication at night. If the dose is too strong, pressure may dip excessively while sleeping. That's why adjusting medication timing with a doctor's guidance can make a big difference. Sleep apnea also plays a role, disrupting oxygen flow and straining the cardiovascular system. While not a proven direct cause, it's considered a factor that can push eye health in the wrong direction. So what helps? Aim for 7 to 8 hours of consistent, restful sleep. A bedtime routine, dimming lights, avoiding screens, or enjoying chamomile tea can prepare the body for rest. If you snore, wake up gasping, or feel constantly tired, talk to a doctor about sleep apnea. And avoid relying too heavily on sedatives, since they can drop blood pressure too far overnight. Rest should recharge the body, not endanger it. And while poor sleep can put hidden strain on your eyes, the next everyday habit is far more visible. It's sitting right in your cup. Habit number 3. Frequent high caffeine intake. Coffee is a daily ritual for many, a warm comfort that starts the morning or keeps the afternoon going. But when it comes to eye health, too much caffeine can quietly add strain. Studies show that caffeine can temporarily raise intraocular pressure, and in people sensitive to these changes, that pressure can stay elevated longer than expected. In fact, drinking 5 or more cups a day has been linked to a higher risk of glaucoma, meaning the optic nerve ends up under more stress than it should. That doesn't mean 1 cup will damage your eyes. For many, a moderate amount is well tolerated, and the rise in pressure is only temporary. But moderation matters. Just as oversalting food can spoil a dish, flooding the body with caffeine can force aging eyes to work harder than necessary. In practice, this might look like cutting back from 4 or 5 cups to just 1 or 2. Replacing that extra coffee with green tea offers a gentler lift, along with antioxidants that support eye health. In the afternoon, switching to water with lemon or a soothing tea like rooibos keeps you hydrated and gives your optic nerve a break from added pressure. Everyone's body reacts differently, which is why regular eye exams are so important. They reveal whether caffeine is nudging your pressure higher than it should be. And while caffeine is often part of social rituals, there's another social factor that can quietly affect the eyes: the way we respond to daily stress. Habit number 4: chronic stress, poor stress management, and overuse of steroids. Stress is something everyone faces, but when it lingers day after day, it doesn't just weigh on the mind or heart, it can also affect the eyes. Research shows that emotional strain can raise intraocular pressure, putting extra force on the optic nerve and increasing the risk of vision loss. The opposite is also true. Practices like meditation, mindful breathing, or gentle relaxation have been shown in small studies to lower eye pressure slightly, giving the eyes a moment of relief when the mind finds calm. But stress isn't the only hidden factor. Corticosteroids, whether in the form of eye drops, creams for the skin, or inhalers for asthma, are effective medications but can quietly raise eye pressure in some people. Doctors call these individuals steroid responders, and the tricky part is that damage can happen without noticeable symptoms. That's why anyone using steroids long-term should have their eye pressure checked regularly. So what can help? For stress, starting the day with just 5 minutes of slow breathing, trying gentle yoga, or spending time on a calming hobby like gardening or painting can make a real difference. For those using steroids, the most important step is simply letting the ophthalmologist know, so pressure can be monitored closely during routine exams. Small details like this may be the key to preserving vision for years. And while stress and steroids are often overlooked, they're part of a bigger picture. Beyond daily habits, other risk factors, from age to family history, shape how glaucoma develops and who is most vulnerable. Many people think glaucoma is simply part of aging, but the truth is more complex. While the risk does rise sharply after 60, other factors also play a role. Family history is a big one. If a parent or sibling has glaucoma, your chances increase. Ethnicity matters too, with people of African, Latino, or certain Asian backgrounds facing higher risks. Structural traits like thin corneas, severe nearsightedness, or a larger-than-normal optic nerve cup can also make eyes more vulnerable. Alongside these risks, there are plenty of myths. One common belief is that high intraocular pressure always means glaucoma, but that's not true. Some people suffer nerve damage even at normal pressures, while others with elevated pressure may never develop vision loss. Another myth is that glaucoma announces itself early with symptoms, when in reality it often progresses silently until significant damage is already done. And perhaps the most dangerous misconception is that nothing can be done. In fact, lowering eye pressure with drops, laser therapy, or surgery has been proven to slow or stop progression. Awareness is key. Someone who feels fine because they see clearly may not realize damage is already occurring, while someone who knows glaucoma runs in the family is more likely to schedule regular exams and catch changes early. That awareness often makes the difference between preserving vision for decades or losing it too soon. And once you understand what can't be changed, like age or genetics, it makes the habits you can control, such as exercise, sleep, caffeine intake, and stress, all the more important. Which brings us to the practical side, the actions anyone can take right now to protect their sight. Here's the encouraging part: even though age and family history can't be changed, there are plenty of steps you can take to protect your eyesight. The first is regular eye exams. Not the quick screenings at the pharmacy, but thorough checks with an ophthalmologist, measuring intraocular pressure, scanning the optic nerve, and testing peripheral vision. For those over 60, exams every 1 to 2 years are essential, and even more often if risks are higher. Many people only discover glaucoma when it's too late because they skipped this routine. If glaucoma is diagnosed, treatments are highly effective when followed consistently. Pressure-lowering eye drops, laser therapy, or even surgery all work toward the same goal: keeping the optic nerve safe. Even in normal tension glaucoma, lowering pressure has been shown to preserve vision. Success often comes down to sticking with the treatment plan, taking drops as prescribed, and showing up for follow-ups. Lifestyle habits also make a difference. Choosing a walk over sitting another hour, keeping a regular sleep schedule, cutting back on caffeine, and practicing stress relief all help reduce unnecessary strain on the eyes. Balanced nutrition adds another layer of support. Leafy greens, citrus, and omega-3 rich foods boost circulation, while smoking and long periods in head-down positions can raise risks. Systemic health matters too. Controlling blood pressure and diabetes carefully, treating sleep apnea, and maintaining good vascular health all protect the circulation the optic nerve depends on. And finally, staying informed makes a world of difference. Share family history with your doctor, track your eye pressure results, and don't ignore subtle changes in vision. Taking these steps doesn't just protect your eyes, it protects your independence, the ability to drive, read, recognize faces, and enjoy the simple things in life. So now you've seen how everyday habits, too much sitting, poor sleep, heavy caffeine use, and constant stress, can quietly raise intraocular pressure and put the optic nerve at risk. The hopeful part is that by making small changes, you can protect your eye health and greatly reduce the chance of vision loss. Think for a moment, which of these habits felt most familiar to you? Was it the hours spent sitting, the restless nights, that extra cup of coffee, or maybe the stress you've been carrying? And more importantly, what's one small step you can start with today? The sooner you take action, the longer you'll preserve the gift of clear vision. If this video gave you something valuable, please support the channel by liking, sharing with a friend or family member, and subscribing so you don't miss the next health insight. Turn on notifications too, because the next video might be the one that answers a question you've had for years. And before you go, check out the video appearing here on your screen. It's another eye-opening look at how to stay healthy and independent as you age, and you won't want to miss it.